one of the most grueling events, and there's a lot of people trying to bang their way in. Geneviève Lalonde, though, is the best of the bunch. She has a 9:32.17, has ran very well all spring, and if anybody's a favorite, she is.
Yeah, Lalonde would definitely be the favorite, and important to know, too, that she has overtaken Jessica Furlan, who she's going to race here tonight, as the Canadian record holder. That 9:32.17, that is the new Canadian standard. So a bunch of storylines in this race, a bunch of contenders, and it's nice to see it as the main event.
So the 5 who are running for the trip, so to speak, it's like the Price is Right. Alicia Butterworth from BC Unattached. She is on the inside. Hip number 1 has a mark of 9:41.26. Geneviève Lalonde, there she is. Canadian record holder, 9:32.17. Silver medalist last year at this competition. Erin Teschuk is number 3 from Winnipeg. She is qualified with a mark of 9:40.07. Shari Boyle is hip 4 from Running Room, Alberta, 11:16.53. Maria Bernard is qualified from Saucony, 9:44.81. Reagan Yee is close at 9:53.99 from the Langley Mustangs. She's wearing hip 6. And Jessica Furlan, who's actually 7 seconds off of Lalonde's best, second in the country this year, and that is Jessica Furlan from Excel Athletica. Chantel Gronenwood is wearing hip 8, BC Unattached. She has a mark of 10:01.73, and Emma Nigel from Caltaf, 10:49.49.
The gold medalist in 13 and 14, Excel Athletica, Jessica Furlan. The bronze medalist in 2012, 4th and 14, from British Columbia, Chantel Gronenwood. And 5th last year.
So here's our field, 3,000 meters. Remember, we start in the middle of the backstretch because of the positioning of the water pit. It is inside the track. And again, the water jump here is all the same Benyon material, so it's a great landing spot. The funny thing is, earlier with this rainstorm we had earlier, the pit was overflowing about 4 o'clock. So there's plenty of water to splash into. Here we go. And again, this will totally be a race. This is about getting the top 2 spots. So the pack just falls in together here. Butterworth, Lalonde, Teschuk, Bernard, Furlan all want to go to Rio. 2 will be able to go for sure if they finish in the top 2.
And we'll see if Butterworth and Bernard can take out that old guard. The 3 names that you mentioned there, Butterworth running for the University of Idaho.
And having done Idaho football over the years, I gave her some love with her Vandals t-shirt yesterday. So the first 250 and 45. Yeah, I think that's the interesting question as they hit the first barrier. A decision will have to be made, presuming somebody else, finishes 3rd and 4th with the mark. And we may get our answer in this race, and I don't know if it's fair for us to say it, but who will deserve to be selected as an at-large? Because I think with the depth of the field, I think we want to send 3. I think there's no reason to leave everybody else home.
No, absolutely. With that many qualifiers, and with all 5 of these names, especially with how they've been running recently, would be good contenders. So it would absolutely make sense to run all 3 if you can.
Yeah, I think it depends on the field, but when that selection comes Monday morning, I mean, this is a worthy group. And it just fits into this whole Canadian women's middle distance right now. We're going to send a awesome 800 group. Okay, there's the water jump. And again, it's got a great, so this is a great water jump.
Yeah, that's one thing that's unique about the steeplechase is that technically, even though it says 3,000 meters, it's not always quite 3,000 meters because the water jump can be at a slightly different place depending on where you are.
There are only 3 spots available. Butterworth, Furlan, Lalonde, Teschuk.
All right, here we go. That was a 78 last time around, and your leader is Butterworth. Well, Butterworth, she's going to make a case for herself by running up front. Because remember, there's only going to be 1 more. You can only send 3 max, so someone's going to get in based on overall performance. So you're probably going to look back at the performances, how many times, because it's hard to run this race a lot. So if somebody has one more race with a quality time, that might be the difference. Who's been the more durable steeplechaser?
And it's a grueling process, so it's handy to even have just an extra body around as well. You know, you and I were speaking offline about kind of the resurgence or this influx of North American steeplechasers, and it's interesting. Just last night we saw the USATF qualifiers as well, and names like Emma Coburn and Colleen Quigley, they're starting to pop up and become household names as well, and it's nice to see a Canadian contingent right alongside them.
And again, especially in this event, there's a lot of cross-border competition, and so especially in BC and Oregon, Washington, they all race against each other all year as well. And that's created some pretty good competition. Okay, next split coming up here. 320, that was a 76, so we're going a little faster now. And we see we've dropped one runner off the back, Ronan Wood.
This is the group of 5. Coming up on 1,200 meters. Alicia Butterworth has been running from the front.
Lalonde now right with her again. Genevieve Lalonde, number 1 on all fronts right now.
We haven't talked much about Erin Teschuk, but she's tucked in there in 3rd place right now. She has a serious kick, and I know it was only 1 month into the season, but there was a time earlier on this year when she had the fastest indoor mile in the country, in the United States. So she can really throw it down if she gets some time and space at the end of this.
Coming before the stands, a challenging event. A lot of challenges through these
Lalonde now running right up front, along with Butterworth. And right with them, Teschuk. It's a group of 6. That was a 77, just a second slower than the last one. So they're maintaining a good pace. They've gone 78, 76, 77 high.
And the great thing about steeplechase, too, is that it's a true racer's race. You think about the greatest steeplechaser of all time, Ezekiel Kemboy. He was a guy who would, and still to this day, will hang out around 8th, 9th sometimes in the pack and then kick. Unless you're a truly gifted runner like a Concelsus Kipruto who can just blast through the pack and run down your rabbit, you need to know how to race if you're going to be a good steeplechaser.
Yi showing signs of tiring. We get a little wobbly up on those jumps. He's trying to move up now, too. Getting into that top 4. Here we come to the water. Lalonde, Teschuk, and Lee up to 3rd.
And Maria Bernard now moves up to 5th. And again, before the stands, and they feed off your energy. Genevieve Lalonde creating some separation on the field.
And now they're running single file almost.
Erin Teschuk, Alicia Butterworth, Maria Bernard.
5:55, there's a 76. And no one's backing down on this.
No.
The next split you'll hear will be at 2,000 meters.
Coming to 2,000 meters, so that'll be 2 and change to go. It'll be 800 to go at the line.
Again, Lalonde is the Canadian record holder, and maybe some of these other runners are capable of running those times, but right now she's decided, I'm going to make them prove that they can. I'm going to create this separation, prove that you can keep up with me.
And here they come, and I'll tell you, Teschuk, who's now separating in 2nd here, making a little statement. That brings a little pressure. There's Bernard. And then Yi. Now, Reagan Yi does not have a mark. So she's running for a lot of things right now. Lalonde, Teschuk. This will be 800 to go at the line.
We talked about the raw speed of Teschuk on the flat track, and it's coming into play right now.
Say she's setting herself up to lock down 2nd. 800 to go at 7:13. That was a 78 lap. There's Butterworth, and right with her Furlan, and there's Yi.
Butterworth looks like she's laboring a little bit.
Yeah.
back straight. And coming up on 2,400 meters. And of course, all of our competitors are hurdling the barriers.
Maria Bernard now locking down third place. Butterworth's fallen off the pace. So Butterworth's going to make her case. Or excuse me, Bernard's going to make her case for the third spot.
Yeah, Bernard's in a really good spot. If she can just keep Teschuk in sight, she should be able to lock down third. Because I don't think that Butterworth has enough left in the tank to reel her in.
And then it becomes kick time. You know, Bernard's got a 9:44. Teschuk a 9:40. Could be a kick fight. And now they're both moving up on Lalonde.
This picture right here, you could be looking at your Olympians.
Here comes the bell, 1 to go. 8:33. So that was a slower lap, an 80. And here's the sprint for the plane ticket. All three qualified here. 2 will be automatic when this race ends, and the other will be playing real nice for Coach Erickson. But again, this is a very solid third place. So I think all 3 of them look very good for the team.
There might still be a race for second and for first. Look at this. Teschuk making a move.
Teschuk has been lurking the entire race and moves ahead of Lalonde. And Bernard right up behind Lalonde. They're in front of us, 200 to go. Teschuk in the lead, Lalonde, Bernard. The final 200, the final water jump. Everyone clean through there. It's Teschuk, Lalonde's right there, Bernard's right there. We've got another jump and then a sprint. Lalonde pulls out to pass. Everyone clears the hurdle. Sprint time. And it is Aaron Teschuk for the automatic. And Bernard will take Lalonde for second. They're in. And there's the smile that I am going to the games. Aaron Teschuk. And you know what? With this result, because I don't think you can leave Genevieve off the team at all, I think you get all 3.
I think you have to. The Canadian record holder, and someone who led this race the entire way, you see the disappointment on her face because she's not certain of it, but I would think that they would put her on the team.
Yeah, she's ran well. She's hit a big mark this year. So this will be, and again, you want to send a strong group. This is a strong group. 9:50.99, not the fastest race, but these 3 clearly separated themselves from the rest of the field. Bernard goes 9:51.55, Lalonde 9:52 and 18. Rest of the finishers coming across, Yee and Butterworth, Butterworth, Gronewood, and then Furlan and Neagle. Furlan ends up finishing in 8th.
What a run from Bernard, too.
Yeah, Bernard had faded by a couple of strides, and she was strong on the sprint.